Welcome back to my channel. I am Samara. I am a spiritual business coach as well as a life coach. And on this channel, I talk about growing a spiritual business, productivity, self-care, and self-love. And so this is going to be a self-care and self-love video. We are going to be talking about how to be happy single. And I really wanted to make this video because I was single for about 2 years. After my last relationship. I was with someone for 3.5 years. We were engaged and we broke up. It didn't work out. And so I was single for 2.5 years. And I was in my late 20s, from 27 to 29. I'm 29 right now. And in that time, I was intentionally not dating. I went on a few dates in the beginning, but it became clear to me that this was really a season where I wanted to be single because I really wanted to work on myself. I wanted to be a better partner to myself and to fall even more deeply in love with myself to the point where I was never going to put up with an unhealthy relationship just because I didn't want to be alone. And a lot of people find themselves in unhealthy relationships because they don't like the idea of being by themselves. And I had to be honest with myself and realize that that was the situation I had been in with my previous partner. And so I wanted to get to the point where I felt so in love with me and my cup was so full that I would never tolerate an unhealthy relationship just for the sake of being in a partnership. And so this topic of how to be happy single really means a lot to me, and if you clicked on this video, I believe it was for a reason. If you are recently broken up or if you are struggling to find someone, I want you to know that this video goes out to you. I feel you. I know what that is like. And I also want to remind you that the first step in being happy single is to remember that it's not about renouncing a relationship. It's not about deciding you're going to be single forever. You are not going to be single forever. You are going to find your person, and it's about being happy in the meantime. So when I work with my life coaching clients, we do a lot of manifestation, and one of the things that we always talk about is you have to figure out how to be okay until the manifestation happens. We put a lot of pressure on manifestation when we tell ourselves we need this or else, and whatever comes after or else. I need this or else I'm gonna die alone. I need this or else I'm gonna be lonely. I need this or else my life can't start. There's always this sense of like, I need this or else, and that puts pressure on the manifestation, and that makes it so much harder for the manifestation to actually come. When we get to the place where we don't need it, but we just want it, it's just a preference, it's just a desire, that is when we are actually way more attractive and way more magnetic to potential partners or to anything that we're manifesting. So we really just want to remember, it's not saying you're going to be single forever. It's not saying if you find contentness and happiness in singlehood, you are never going to find your person. But it's actually the reverse. When you find happiness and when you find contentness in your singlehood, you will actually become much more relaxed, much more confident, and it will be much easier to actually find your person. So start with remembering you can be okay until you find your person. It's not that you'll never have your person, it's that your person is coming and you are okay until then. You're going to treat yourself well until then. You are going to feel good about your life until then. And I want you to really practice enjoying one day at a time, especially if you've been single for years, you've been single for a long time. You have to really take it one day at a time. You don't want to just focus on how long it's been or how hard it is or when is the person going to come and how long they're taking to come. You want to just drop in and say, how can I have a good day today? How can I pour into myself today? How can I make today a really fun, enjoyable, beautiful day? Because that's the kind of thing that, again, it's just going to make you a match for the life that you want to have with this person. I imagine that you want to have a harmonious, loving, joyful partnership. And so you want to create a harmonious, loving, joyful dynamic within yourself. You want to treat yourself really well. So for me, I have different playlists that I listen to that help me feel connected to myself. I always make sure that I take really good care of my body. I got really into working out when I was single. I learned how to run. I just got really into doing yoga and like taking really good care of myself, doing Pilates, going to the gym. Like I started to really just treat myself very, very well. And this actually goes into my next point, which is being the partner that you want to have. And what I mean is, think about the things that you wish a partner would do for you and do them for yourself. So that's going to be very unique and specific to everyone because we all like different things. One thing that I really learned, and this is an exercise from Tam Kaur's book, Buy Yourself the Damn Flowers. The exercise is to basically take the love languages quiz, learn what your love language is, and then practice giving that love language to yourself. So my love language, my primary one, is words of affirmation. And I always love it when my partner affirms me and, says nice things to me, compliments me, but also just like reflects really special, nice things back to me. And so in my partnership, one of the things that we do is we'll say 3 things that we love about each other. And sometimes we'll just do that like before bed or whatever. And it's really, again, it's very sweet. But I was doing that with myself. I was always speaking to myself about what I liked about myself, what I loved about myself, why I was proud of myself. And I was really giving myself those words of affirmation that I most needed. I also made sure that I checked in with myself regularly. I did a lot of journaling. I still do a lot of journaling, and journaling is a way for me to build up intimacy with myself. And so I would really recommend going and seeing what your primary love language is, and then really making it a priority to give that love language to yourself, because that will fill you up and that will stop you from feeling like you have this void in your life that can only be filled once you have a partner. You need to start filling those voids yourself. And there's honestly nothing that a partner can give you that you can't give yourself. And I want you to actually sit with that one and think about how that could be true in any situation. Even with kids, you could adopt a kid or go through IVF if you wanted to. Like, you can pretty much have any experience that you would have with a partner with yourself. And that doesn't diminish the value of a partner. That doesn't mean that you should, again, want to be single forever or that you don't need a partner, but it's really just like remembering that a partner is a beautiful add-on to your life, but it's not the foundation of your life. It's not the thing that gives you permission to love your life. It's definitely not the thing that makes your life complete. Your life is complete right now. And I want you to really feel that. And I want you to even start asking yourself, like, what would you be doing if you knew that your life was complete right now? What are you holding yourself back from doing because you are kind of waiting and putting things on hold until you have a partner? Are there things that you can start doing now? For example, maybe you're holding off on buying a house, or maybe you're holding off on deciding where you want to live. I don't know why housing stuff is coming up, but maybe that's something that you are telling yourself you can't do until you have a partner. But who knows? Maybe once you decide, okay, I'm going to put down roots and I'm going to be here, maybe that's when your partner will appear. But you need to be willing to move forward with your life, is what I'm trying to say. You can't put your life on hold until you have a partner. And if you're feeling unhappy in singlehood, it's likely because there are certain things you're holding yourself back from fully doing, or holding yourself back from fully enjoying, because you feel like you can't do those things until you have a partner. And then the last thing that's coming up to speak on is also just comparing yourself to people. Comparison really is the thief of joy. And I want you to actually notice when you feel like you should have a partner, maybe because all your friends have partners, or because everyone at your job has a partner and you just feel isolated because you're single. And I want you to actually start to turn that on its head and remind yourself that there are perks to being single. You don't have to make decisions that factor in anybody else. You know, I remember when I was engaged, and I live in New York, my family is from New York, but I had moved to California to be with my partner, and there was a time when I expressed like wanting to come back to the East Coast, and my partner was like, well, I can't live in a place where there's snow, you know. And it was like, okay, well, now I have to basically pick between being in a relationship with this person and living where I want to live. And that was really tough. And so I want you to actually think about, like, when you are single, you do not have to choose. You don't have to make those trade-offs. And making trade-offs is a part of a relationship. It's not to say, again, that that's bad or that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just different. When you're single, you're free in that way, and you can make choices, and the only person who you have to factor in is you, and that's very special. So that was one of the things that I actually really started leaning into, was like, what are the choices that I haven't been making because I had to factor in somebody else, and now that I don't have to factor in that person, you know, one of the first things I did was I moved right back to New York, you know, and I'm here and I'm closer to my family and I'm really like enjoying living here. But I only let myself do that because I'm single and I do not have to factor in my ex's preferences into a decision about where I live. And so all of this is to say, you don't want to be looking at your friends in partnerships and painting it out as if their life is perfect. Of course, I hope that your friends are happy and I hope that their partnerships are harmonious, but I also just want to remind you that being single is a really special thing too, and there are things that single people can do that you can't do when you have a partner. You know, there are just logistical differences and logistical advantages that come with being single, and I want you to really lean into those. Also, just want to remind you that self-love is a practice. Taking really good care of yourself is a practice, and it is something that you have to intentionally be willing to get better at over time. A lot of us aren't taught how to take care of ourselves, and we're certainly not taught how to love ourselves, and it is something that we have to really train ourselves in so that we can do it effectively. And in order to help you, I've actually created a free self-love and self-care guide. I'm going to link it down below. It's a PDF. It has journal prompts. It has solo date activities and all kinds of things to just help you build a better relationship with yourself. I also have some more YouTube videos on the topic, so I will link those down below. And if you are manifesting a partner, or if you are just really wanting to have a partner in your life and you're feeling sad that you don't, remember that you can come back to this video anytime you need it, and you can even leave me a comment. I will always respond to any comment because I know what it is like to be in that situation, but I also know that you can get through it and that it can actually be one of the most special, sacred, and beautiful times in your life. If you haven't already heard, I am the host of the You 2.0 podcast, which is a podcast about manifestation, spiritual business, productivity, self-love, all the things I talk about on my YouTube channel. I just have like 177 podcast episodes. So head on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you want more from me. And finally, if you are really wanting to work on your self-love and self-care journey, this is exactly the kind of work that I do with my coaching clients, because I want all of my clients to have a full cup. I want them to feel that sense of independence and groundedness, so that when they are calling in partners or clients or any new relationships into their lives, they're doing so from a place of sufficiency and not from a place of lack or like neediness. And so this is something that it can be really helpful to have support with. And if you want to learn more about what it is like to work with me as your coach, you can also go ahead down below and book a free coaching consultation. These consultations are an hour-long session where I really get to know you, your goals, I get an understanding of what's been holding you back, and I create a step-by-step plan for how you can move from where you are in life to where you want to be. So it's a really beautiful session. It will be the best hour of your week, I can guarantee it, because we don't spend enough time just focusing on ourselves and focusing on our goals. And so I would love to see you in a consultation as well. And the link to that will be down below. Until I am connected to you next, I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. Take care.